Welcome back to the program. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Before we went on that break, while trying to prepare you for what we'll be talking about today, we did say that what is permeating the air right now, majorly in Nigeria, is that mindset where the younger generation feels that, you know, we must make it sharp, sharp. And cutting corners is one thing that is really rife right now, where a lot of people do not want to stay through and follow through the processes, but think that, you know what, let's make this money however possible it is. Sometimes you read some heartbreaking stories and you wonder what is going on, where a 14-year-old will kidnap a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old and for money, and will not bat an eyelid, will kill that person for meager amount of money, less than 300,000 as ransom. Please, what would you want to do with that kind of money? How did we get here? A lot of people have said, let's go back to the basics, the basics or the bases, the family front. And Joshua said, sometimes you'll be amazed that even the father or the mother are the ones encouraging some of these children. What do we need to do to get back to that level where the family, the home front, was really a sacred place where children, you know, could not do things and get away with that? Is it a function of the society or a function of the homes? We have a moral advocate in the studio this morning, and together we'll take a look at this topic. Join us this morning as a welcome Bishop David Adetiloye is also the Bishop End Time Army Church. Thank you for being here on the program.
Thank you so much
this
for
morning.
having me.
Well, because you are a pastor, I know that majorly most of these things, of course, you will probably back up with the Word of God. But let's start this way. If you took a look at your generation, our generation, and where we are today, was it that during your time or during your era, was money not a problem? Or how did we get to that level where it looks like everything right now is centered around making money?
Yeah, it has always been a problem,
Okay.
having money. You wonder when the musician was singing, Ilule Kosowolodi, and you start thinking, what could have made them sing such a song at that particular time? Things were not really very difficult. But the truth is, there has always been a period or a season of famine. There will always be a time where there will be lack. And I think most of those seasons bring out either the best or the worst from people.
Okay.
And it's a global phenomenon.
It is a global, it's not peculiar to us
it's
here.
not peculiar to our nation,
Okay.
Nigeria.
Joshua, sorry to cut you short, just so that you can land properly on this one.
Okay.
So if you say that, you know, the time of luck has always been there, and, you know, a time where, of course, you might not have plenty, is that why the love for affinity? Because, again, it looks like there's a difference between luck and, you know, wanting to attain a position that you're not even ripe for in the first place. So can we clarify, is it about hunger or is it about vanity?
It's much more about vanity.
Okay.
Because of the way social media is bombarding people with so many pictures. You see influencers, people who, in quotes, you will say they are successful because they flaunt dollars. And then the younger generation also want to have all these things. And you hear them saying, okay, what do you want to do in life? I want to be a politician. Why? Because I want to steal money. And they do it with impurity. So it's the norms.
Hey, it's the norm. Joshua.
Okay, so I was in the car with a young lady. So we're having a conversation. So there was a Benz 340, 350 passed. And she said, oh, that's my car. Then at another time, another Benz passed by. I was in my Toyota Camry. So I was feeling a little, I wanted to feel a little bit bad, like, but the air condition, no, like, what is wrong with this person? But I was also looking at the tragic, because we were talking about her own life. And I realized that if care is not taken, there's likelihood that she'll be pregnant before she's 24. And there's likelihood that she might actually die from drug overdose. We're still talking about that, but she was talking about a life that I looked at. For you to get that kind of car, you must have some kind of money that I don't see, because you're not even out of school yet. So at what point did that orientation or that kind of quests to have a kind of lifestyle that their parents do not have, that a 19-year-old, I think she's barely 20, do not have, like your parent didn't do it, you are not out of school, and I can see some kind of nuances that doesn't even depict that. If you are not careful, because you can't come out with the kind of lifestyle you're living, you can't come out with good grades in the first place.
Of course.
To even land a first-class job anywhere. I was still looking at that kind of the academic, the process. So she has literally shortcut everything to the Benz, the Benz part.
You nailed it.
So
Shortcut.
the Indomie lifestyle that we have of the young people, where did it come from? Is it from? You said social media, because I think
Very strong influence.
so. Where is it from?
Very strong influence from the social media. And the fact that even parents will not ask questions today. Where did you get the iPhone? How come you are using this? How come you are using Uber? When you can use a taxi or you can use a bus to where you are going. And then Uber is parked there to take you for transportation. They will gladly...
Who is asking the question? The mom or the dad, or the brother, or the... Who is asking? Who
should be
Who is to
asking?
ask to this question? That's
No, people should ask questions.
That's prognosing. That's not your business now. We are
Of
in
course.
we are in our
And then
own
they
world
say-
now. It's not
they
of your
will
business.
say,
Yeah.
Mama is old school.
Yeah.
Papa is old
Yeah,
school and
yeah.
all that. But like I said, it's a challenge that we have come to find ourselves in. Moral decadence, and it keeps on going on and on like that. And what looks bad, like I said, there was a time in the scriptures when people were eating their children. You know, you give me Bola, I'll give you Solomon, all that, and it was messy. And I believe most of the time, when the values of people are really rotten, it's not because of what they are going through, but because human beings, psychologically, we are challenged from inside out. It's not where you have found yourself. It's not the environment you have found yourself. It's the environment thing. You know, people just decide, I'm going to make it to show you. I'm really going to make it. And they find themselves in prison at the end of the day.
You talked about the fact that the social media...
And sorry, with drugs too.
Yes. Yeah.
So you did say that the social media is a major influence, especially
major.
on the younger generation at the moment. But we do know that that probably is not the only influence.
Of
A lot of people are also very impatient as we speak, and we know patience is a virtue. So where do people pick patience from? Is it a function of what your family or what your parents should inculcate in you, or is it something that as a young person you'd have to learn yourself? In being patient and being contented with what you have or where you are, with a view to at least, you know, going through the right path in making it in life.
Yeah, I was exposed to a very tough life on campus. I had friends who were taking drugs. I had a roommate who, if you make a mistake to eat beans, is drugged. And but in spite of all those things, there was no desire in me. Although I partied with them, I did, but there was no desire within me. I saw those things and I kept on remembering what my mother told me. Not your many things. And that, gave me a phobia.
But the other guy's mom also told him the same thing.
Thank you very much. So that's why I told you that at the end of the day, everybody subscribes to the choices they want. And so the parents can come and say, oh, but they was influenced by his friends, his peer pressure now is a lie.
He wanted to do it.
Yes, he wanted to. Thank you very much. That's what I've come to realize, and my studies on psychology has also confirmed that.
How do you
Personal
explain a
choices.
23-year-old and your friend was going? I remember the other girl, the other time that was on social media that trended, was going to Unilag for her internship, and because of the rain, she had to branch, and the other guy for. I've
she didn't
seen
make
so
it
many.
back.
Yeah, she didn't make it because of a friend. So I don't know what can be so hideous, or what can be so, what can take
You
you
found the
over.
right word.
50,
Hideous.
even 50,000 naira for, they say, lomu oju or apa kan wa, and a whole human being will die for that. So to what end for 50,000? I've seen even less. They will say they sold one part for 20. I've heard, especially when they're arrested
Ridiculous amount.
by police officers, and I'm wondering, that's a laborer's day amount some places. So how do you? I'm trying to, because I relate with so many young people, but I also realize that if I tell them that, okay, I've put in almost 2 decades into the job, and they'll be looking like, you have not blown, no, you have not
You are too
hammer,
slow.
you are slow. So at what point, so how do we measure success? Perhaps we should help the young people, because even to an extent, this kind of economy, being broke is a crime.
Yeah, it's a limitation, no doubt about it. But the truth is, a faithful man shall abound with blessings. With time, when the man is faithful, he will get there. He will make it, and then his wealth will be sustained. Because whatever, you see, like I said, it's not a new thing. Look at the prodigal son, for an example. He just woke up one day and said, look, I have a life to live. And you see them coding so many things today. They are coding a lot of things, parents around and others doing all those things. He said, look, I want to succeed and I don't want your interference. I don't want you supervising me. Just leave me. I want to show you I can make it. He got his hands burnt and came back home when he learned the lesson.
You talked about the fact that, I mean, in your study, and you mentioned, even as a student of psychology, while trying to prepare for this, I also came across a few things in that line that talked about psychological triggers. And of course, one of the things that talked about would be instant gratification
That's
for
true.
young people.
That's
If
true.
you'd like to explain and break that down, how is that an influence?
Because people don't like saving.
Okay.
Saving is a culture that we learn from. Okay, I'm believing God to get a car, so I start saving. No, they want a brick to be able to do that. They want something supernatural to just happen, something to just happen. Let me get the money,
And
let
it
me
can
get
be
the dollars
anywhere.
and whatever. You heard about the story of these 3 guys that tricked that American boy, and they had to imprison him. You heard about
Right.
it? They said, go ahead and kill yourself. The guy said, I'm going to die. I'll kill myself. They said, go ahead and kill yourself. And the boy shot himself. Terrible. I mean, my heart goes out to the parents. How could that happen? So they came in and extradited 2. They are still struggling with 1 now. Young boys.
Yeah, 22, 24, between 22, yeah.
It's terrible.
So, Well, instant gratification you've mentioned. And again, let's go back to the issue of peer pressure. Earlier, you did say that, I mean, it's a personal choice. It depends on what you want to do. You went ahead to create a picture of while you were in the university.
Yeah.
You had friends, of course, who were into shady means, but then because you had your own choices, you didn't do that. How easy do you think that is today? Because you have a lot of young people where societal pressure that they put on themselves.
Of course. Thank you.
That they put on themselves.
Thank you.
Societal pressure, peer pressure, you want to belong, you don't want to be left out. You also want to be like your friends, irrespective of how they've gotten some of those things. And so how can personal development or personal choices help in maintaining your own personal status and not necessarily cashing out like others are doing?
Yeah. I will go back to also influence of our parents. Very, very important. Nowadays, before the parents get back home, they're already tired. In fact, most parents would love to just put their children wards in a boarding house, you know, out of sight. They don't know what is happening to them. They don't know what they are doing. So in our own generation, we don't only have our parents as guardians, we also have neighbors who will always poke nose. So everybody wants to be there to monitor you. Ogbeni, come, we saw you with Lagbaja. When did that one start? They are not your parents, but they have mouth. And they are there, you know. It's a kind
Communal
of...
living.
Thank you very much. But those things are no longer happening. You have neighbors that are not really neighbors.
That could even take advantage of the situation.
But is it not following the adage of Yoruba people? Bami no mo mi, kodi no olomo. So that also translates to I understand how to take care of my kids. Just maintain. The same thing applies to school.
Like I said, the person saying that one is ignorant.
It's Yoruba proverb.
And it's Yoruba proverb, but it's ignorant because the Yoruba proverb also said you can have a child, but you can never take care of a child alone. It's not possible.
But that differs.
That's just irresponsibility at the height.
Which brings me to the question of the reality of our time dictates that parents should go out there and provide for the family.
Okay.
So you also have a challenge of monitoring your kids. You don't even know when they change from puberty to even you don't even can't follow the process because the time runs fast. They grow really fast. They
So
pick up
fast.
things very fast. They are very technological savvy. They have influence with friends. It's also a digital world. They have friends abroad. They've caught up with so many accents. They can even mimic as many things. How do parents catch up? Because you have also parents who are also trying to cut corners that don't have those values you are telling them to teach their kids. How do you even balance it in the first place?
It's very difficult, but it's not impossible.
I don't understand.
Yeah, like I said, most of the challenges we have, they are traced to irresponsibility. You know, I heard about somebody who pleaded not guilty, killed his father and mother, pleaded not guilty, and said, I just got annoyed, I became crazy, I killed them. It's not my fault.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Hiding under mental health.
So people do that a lot. Divorce, marital challenges, mental health, everything. And somebody will not talk to the husband, wife will not talk, say, I'm trying to, for a month, I'm trying to maintain my
sanity.
sanity. And once anybody hears that one,
They will withdraw.
Keep
and
your
then
balance.
you hear the child saying, please give me my space. I want my space. And I believe I deserve my space.
Don't they?
No, they don't.
Ah.
They don't. They don't.
It has a fundamental human right.
Yes, Yes, anybody who says, I want to be free to do whatever I want in life will find himself in Kirikiri,
Oh, wow.
where you will need to be monitored.
You are still monitored even under lock and key.
So you need to be monitored very, very well before you are allowed to come back to the society.
Can we exonerate the society from all of this that we're talking about? Because I'm going to take you back to what you said earlier when you said if you asked someone or a young person what you'd like to do and the person says, I'd like to be a politician because I want to steal or because I want to acquire wealth from the common purse of the nation. So is the society also part of where we are today? Is the society or are politicians also one way or the other contributing to that pressure on the younger generation, also making them see that politics is not about service, but about, in quote, amassing wealth?
Any society that allows people to do crimes without any challenge, without any, what do I call it now?
No consequences?
Consequences will definitely bring some terrible idiots. You use the language that time. You understand? It's going to be grave because people see people getting away with some terrible. Can you just say snake ate money?
There's monkey, no.
Well, monkey also.
Animals are very rich.
Very, very. So
Is there an animal bank?
and these children are watching and they are seeing these things. Is a lot of drama, and nobody is being imprisoned. Nobody is being castrated. Nobody is being, you see, how can you keep somebody in custody and the person ran away? How?
So
Such things don't happen in the West. Because if you are going to be a president, you know that after your terms, you are liable to be prosecuted.
If you've done something wrong.
Thank you very
while in
much, man.
office.
But here, you are even celebrated for stealing.
Because I want to say, like, look, we have a situation in the US because ordinarily before you find that maybe it's just peculiar to Nigeria, but I realize that even all over the world you have even a particular presidential candidate has just started a crypto platform right there in the West. So it's like, and you have so many lies everywhere. So to what end can one be patient? How do you tell young people that, look, you need to go through the process? The process requires that even if you not go to school or university or polytechnic, you can learn a trade, you can do well. How do you tell them that, look, sometimes it's going to take a couple of years before the thing will show, before you can even buy a car? It might not even come with a car.
Right.
You have to go. So how do you tell them that, look, you need to take your time and enjoy? Even my little girl, I'll say, can you just be a baby? As against wanting to, she wants to jump, and I'll say, calm down. Hey girl, you see this adulthood side.
You will get there and you will.
You want to be
enjoy,
a kid again.
enjoy your childhood.
Okay, so how do you tell them that it takes time?
Most of the things that helped us to have values were stories that we had our parents telling us. Asking to Mokere, all those things.
The fables.
Yes, they helped us.
They call it fabu.
That's Yoruba now, the fables.
So they helped us to be able to form values. The story of Mungo Park. He discovered, we know that...
we know of that of tortoise too.
But we saw these things, we read these things, Shaka, Zulu, and all those things. People who had values that helped us to think that, look, in our lifetime, we will become successful and then we can become influencers.
Right.
And when you're able to influence, then people will let go of their priorities. And that is what is happening.
Right. So
With-
as part of, a follow-up to what Joshua asked,
Okay.
as part of, telling the younger generation that, there's a time and there's a season for everything. One of the books, Holy Books, also said that there's a time for everything. Can we also, as parents, also begin to inculcate in the younger generation that sometimes it's okay to fail? I mean, failing does not mean you cannot start again. And so how, as parents, as guardians, as older ones, begin to mentor the younger generation? Because a lot of them are scared to fail, thinking that once you fail, that's it. But can we also begin to let them know that sometimes it's not all rosy? Success doesn't come at once. So sometimes it's okay to cry, it's okay to fail. All you need is the resolve to be successful in life.
Yeah, I will just use my own as an example. My first attempt at WAEC, I failed. And I passed only Fine Art and English. Guess what? A1 English. So it wasn't as if I was dumb. But I had no interest. But during the holidays, my colleagues came, my former schoolmates came. So where are you? I'm in UI. Where are you now? In Unilag. And they were asking me, where are you? I wasn't affected until that time. I became
That was when
ashamed.
it dawned on you.
It dawned on me that, look, I've been stupid. And I went back and I did very, very well. So sometimes we should allow our children to understand the law of consequences. Like I said, you see time and harvest. Whatever you are doing today, and you are saying, I want to just have the shortcut. I keep on telling my children, the shortcut is the longest cut.
Because you would come back.
You will come back and then you will waste a lot of time in recovering what you thought that, okay, you go into Baba Ijebu thing and just to make some quick money.
That's somebody's business.
You understand? So all these things just come, bet this, bet that. And at the end of the day, people become addicted. And then they are not different from this junk, this...
But doesn't it bother you that when you look at the example of the kids and the reasons why they do some things, it is valid? You have a situation where your father keeps telling you that, no, it took my time to do this. For you guys, hunger, they worry you now. Because the father will say, he was a right man, but he died in penury. He died being a poor man, and all of you suffered for his righteousness and faithfulness and his diligence and his perseverance, all those virtues of the scriptures. And the child said, if this is what it means to be patient,
I don't want to go through this.
I don't want to go through this.
Unfortunately,
isn't that?
I know where you are going. Unfortunately, we have a story of the 5 wise virgin and the foolish wise virgin to teach us about life. Life can be brutal sometimes. Now, could you imagine, these foolish ones, they also trimmed their lamp when they knew there was no oil there, because they were banking on collecting from you, sir. And those ones said, no, we will not give you. It has to come to that, where we let people know that there are no sentiments attached to this thing. You can't come and begin. So by the time people know, like I said, if I know I'm going to be arrested after this my 4th term, I will think. If I know that there are consequences to these things I'm doing, I will think. I will think twice. You know, as a pastor, I was sharing with somebody who beat his wife, and he said it was the devil. I said, no, it can't be the devil. He said, why? I said, unless you go to the checkpoint and then you see a soldier and slap him, then I will know why lele, and then we'll start. You understand? Read prayer and deliverance. I said,
because
but
this one,
no,
you saw it and you did it.
You looked at her and you knew you could handle her. And you give her a beating of her lifetime. So don't come and tell me, why is the devil who pushed you. You are still going to do it again.
Right.
Unless you are brought to book and you are dealt with. If you know that, look, you doing that one will cause you some setback in life, you won't do it.
Okay, as we bring this conversation to a close today, Bishop, that is your camera. There are a couple of young people that may be watching today, and perhaps some of them are thinking, all these things they are saying is in your pocket. Oh, I will still go out this weekend and still find a means. If it means killing somebody, if it means maiming somebody, if it means going to one babalawo or one mamalawo to get rich, I will still go ahead. Are you able to tell them this morning that, you know, that path would only bring them to, you know, a disaster? Your parting words for young people today, preaching again the spirit of resilience, the spirit of patience, and to be contented with where you are.
Thank you so much. When we look at orange and then we take it before it becomes ripe, it does some injuries to our system. There is this Yoruba adage that says, "Ọmọ mi, má kánjú lábẹ́ tó gbóná." Tó bá kánjú lábẹ́ tó gbóná, àwọn abo. And that tongue that has been burnt will not enjoy the cold soup. So it's better, relax yourself, take your time. Patience is a wonderful virtue. And I know, I'm telling you, I've been there before. It's not easy because we want everything quick and fast. But if you want something that can be sustained, then believe God to hand it. If you can't hand it, you can't keep it.
Oh, point. If you cannot earn it, you cannot keep it.
No.
Okay, at least if you do not remember anything, remember that, and probably let that be your parting words this morning. I like, everybody says this word, Rome was not built in a day.
That's true.
Even when you are doing something bad, you still allude to that sentence. So please always remember that at the back of your mind. If you cannot earn it, then you cannot keep it. Start small, be patient, and let God bless all that you have done. Thank you so much, Bishop Adetuloi, for finding time to be here on the program today. All right, we'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, of course, our attention will turn to Adebimpe and Joy this morning. And, of course, they're taking a look at safety issues with our children now that they are back in school.